Hello everyone, and welcome to Keeping It Real with Steph and Kev. I'm Steph.
And I'm Kev, and we're keeping it real. This is show number 7.
Today we're going to be talking about family.
That's right, we got families going on in the mix. But before we even get into families, okay, and how we are family. I got all my sisters and me. Before we get into any of that, we want to basically say, just tell you again why we're even here doing this. I mean, take a step back. I mean, really, why are we even doing this show? And
good question.
The real reason we're doing this is to try to inspire others to make that change, that individual change.
Right.
Change the world one person at a time, as it talks about our intro, and basically create a greater awareness about a lot of these issues that students are facing on campus and a greater appreciation of the problems that they're facing.
Exactly, because it's only once we change ourselves that we can then go on to better our family, better our friends, and essentially to better the world.
Right. That's real stuff. That's real.
That is real.
Now, when we're talking about families, we're looking at obviously our true family, like the
blood relatives.
The blood relatives, okay? But then we have the non-blood family, which is, like your families,
close
your friends, coaches, teachers, whatever, people that have really made an impact in your life.
Right.
But the funny thing is that a lot of times, the people that we hurt the most are those closest to us, our families.
Right. And why do we hurt the people closest to us?
Steph, I'm going to let you take that question.
All right. I personally think that we oftentimes are disrespectful. We oftentimes are not considerate. We oftentimes hurt those closest to us, usually our family, because we take them for granted. We take advantage of that unconditional love that our family is supposed to provide for us, and we use it, whether consciously or subconsciously, to, in turn, do whatever we want at that time, to say whatever we want at that time so that we get our agenda across, and we essentially neglect them as a human and neglect them as the people we love the most.
Exactly. And I think as my uncle would say, he said, Kevin, at the end of the day, all you have is family. And I believe that's really the truth, whether it is your true family or your friends and whoever else is in your life at the time.
Right. So, and this is important to realize because it's only our family, it's only our closest friends who love and support us no matter what. So it's really important that we take a step back and realize that we should not be burning bridges. We should not be treating our family with lesser respect than we would treat, the average Joe walking around the streets.
No, you're right. And I think also at the end of the day as well is that, we want to come to our real family when we have a lot of problems going on in our lives and, for emotional availability. But sometimes that's not the case, as in a lot of families, that aren't so open with their emotions. I mean, coming from my family, to be real with you all, I mean, this was the first time this past summer that I told my dad how much I actually loved him and appreciated him, And it's just that we've never been, really huggy, touchy-feely type of thing. But it took me that long to do it. So in the other interim, between my first 21 years, I guess, I was going, either with my mom or my sister, but also my other friends, here on campus, or just, my coaches and other mentors in my life. So. But
only now has your relationship with your dad
exactly, and that's why families are. Oh, for sure. It's been great. My little brother, he's my inspiration for everything, and I mean, I'm really close to my family. Because at the end of the day. All you got is your family.
That's right.
It's real.
All right, so up next we have a pair of students who are going to share with us their family stories and how they balance their collegiate life with their lives that they live with their families and how they incorporate and mix the two. So stay tuned and we'll be right back.
Keep it real.
Keeping It Real with Steph and Kev. I'm Steph.
And I'm Kev. We're keeping it real, as always.
We are family here.
Family.
All right, so we have a couple of guests who are going to talk to us about the importance of incorporating college in with families, and how through their college experiences and through, you know, the maturation process and everything in college, that we actually learn to rely on our families most, and how family, the term family, broadens its definition.
Right, to really get through those tough times.
Right, especially in college. So here with us today, we have Tim and Kim.
Yes,
we do. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for being on our show. It's a pleasure. We actually have a reappearance by Kim.
That's right.
Kim Peters.
2 times now. So, thanks, Kim.
Great to have you back. Keeping it real.
Keeping it real. All right, so do you both want to explain to us briefly a little bit about your family situations? You know, how many people are
just a little background.
Close?
Sure. So I come from a pretty big family. There's 8 people on my dad's side and 9 people on my mom's. So lots of aunts and uncles, lots of cousins. I don't even know all their names. But so family parties are always like pretty big. Lots of little cousins running around. I'm sort of the oldest on both sides, so it's always just sort of like lots of little kids running around.
Right.
It's fun.
And you really like feel the love at the holiday.
Yeah, it's very definitely very like warm. Holidays is when you know like the big focus is.
Okay. All right. And how about you, Kim?
I come from a moderately big family as well. My mom has a lot of brothers and sisters. My dad only has one, but like they pretty much all live out of state, and actually all of my grandparents have passed away in like the last, I don't know, 10, 12 years. So it's not really, we don't really get together that much with my like aunts and uncles anymore, because there's not really a reason for them to like come back to Michigan from out of state. And they all have older kids. I'm pretty much the youngest of all my cousins. So pretty much like what we've started doing now for like holidays with me, my parents, and my sister is that we usually get together with my parents' really close friends. My dad has a best friend who he grew up in Detroit with, like across the street from each other since they were 6 years old. They were friends. So, you know, they're really close. We get together with him and his family and like their other friends. Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, we go over to another one of my dad's really good friends' houses, and you know they've just like become like my family. Like they love us, they like buy us gifts. It's just like any other family would. Right. You know, we get together and it's very comfortable. So
that's great.
That's like, you know, become our family, I guess. You know, for whatever.
All right. So my next question is going to be for Tim. And I guess, you know, it sounds like you have a really big family, first of all, and that you seem to be pretty close to those family members. But I guess, how do you sort of, you know, obviously college can get very busy, you know, and a lot of things can happen, you know, with exams or even like a lot of other issues going on. How do you kind of balance that collegiate life with sort of maintaining those close relationships with your family?
Yeah, well, I would say it's definitely difficult. Obviously, well, I'm from like a big Catholic family, so like there's a lot of like those extra sort of connections. Like I have my godparents, and I have like I was confirmation sponsor for one of my cousins, so it's like these extra connections that you're supposed to keep. Like, you know, if you get too busy, like just make sure you keep those. Make sure you call your cousin on his birthday, or make sure you call like this aunt and uncle on, you know, such and such days. But
just to keep them in the loop.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just like my mom helps me out a lot. She's like, call your aunt so and so, it's her birthday. So like you call her. I don't know.
All right, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, and so now Kim, like you probably don't have that much of, I guess, commitment-based familial relationships.
To your real family, but
or even to the extended family, like, you know, your dad's friends and everything. But how does that make you feel like you have someone to lean on if you needed to, or
I think because like my extended family isn't that close, my like immediate family is a lot closer.
Okay.
So, I don't know how I would like describe it, but especially since my family is so close. Like my family lives 20 minutes from Ann Arbor, so I see them all the time. And since I've gone away from college, they miss me. So when I see them, it's like a lot more special or whatever. So
time.
So do either of you have any advice for, you know, freshmen out there in the dorms or whatever, or just coming to college?
In general, right?
Yeah, they're struggling between this balance between, you know, calling their parents every day, talking to their siblings, whereas when they lived at home, you know, they saw everyone every day. Do you have any advices throughout these 4 years of college how to maintain that relationship with your family?
Some insight.
Yeah, well, I can definitely say, so like I would always get annoyed when my parents would call.
Right.
But really when you're having like a tough time and like you can't figure out really what's not right, like just call home and just like chat about nothing, and that always makes me feel better. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Like I call my parents and my sister all the time. Like they get sick of me calling them, but I really like talking to them. Like I found like as I get older, I kind of like have more in common with my parents and my sister who's in high school. I like to talk to her about like what's going on in high school. It's like brings back memories and stuff like that.
Right.
I like to help her, you know, like get ready for college and stuff like that. So I really like talking to them, even if they always don't want to talk to me. I always try to like make the effort.
Okay.
Because
at the end of the day, all you have is family.
That's right. And you know, it's important also to realize when you were saying that, I was thinking, when we are growing, when we're maturing, you know, we're seeing our family as human beings, as equals towards us, whether they're our adults, our parents, or our younger siblings. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Tim and Kim, keep it real.
That's right. And up next, we have a family man who gets real with his family and friends. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Come on now.
It's going to be a good show tonight, Jesse.
Better than Tuesday newsfeed, at least.
You know we're right here, right?
Yeah, guys, what's your problem? Hey guys, no offense. All I'm saying is we're better at reading the news than you.
What? We're better than you.
Heck yeah.
We totally take you in a talk-off.
Fine, it's a talk-off.
Turnip sells seashells down by the seashore to swimmers that shout shameful sayings at sharks that shout shameful sayings back.
Peter Piper picked a peck of Did Peter Piper pick a peck of pickled peppers? Is Peter Oh no, go to weather, now!
They're sending on their weather? No, go to weather. We're going to weather. What are you doing here?
I'm trying to do weather.
I'm doing weather tonight.
No,
I'm sorry.
They put the best people on weather for tonight.
Oh, are you kidding?
Cut. Hey, it's my night. I say cut.
Did you just see that? Obviously, our night Wednesday is a lot better, right?
Of course. Be sure to turn in Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday night for all your campus, local, and international news.
See you then.
Welcome back to Keeping It Real with Steph and Kev. I'm Steph.
And I'm Kev, and guess what? We're keeping it real.
And we are family.
Show number 7. We're doing it up.
All right, now Kev, I think you have a little story to
I do, actually.
we talk to the family man.
The family man, Ben over here. We got Ben with us today. So I was talking to this guy the other day, and he told me he was actually traveling on business out to Naples, Italy. And he came across this community, this city, that basically had their whole city destroyed in a matter of 32 seconds by a tsunami, a very heavy storm.
Right.
And these people decided to rebuild on the same location.
Okay.
And he's like, why would you even think about doing that? Because there's a possibility that it could come again and rebuild again and again. But family was so important to these people and community that they wanted to build in the same place because they were so close to these people. And that's how it is in a lot of third world countries. If you go to even Mexico and South America, community is very important to those people.
All right. So with that being said, we'd like to welcome someone who's actually lived overseas and is going to talk to us about how that has strengthened his relationship with his family. So Ben, thank you very, very much for joining us today.
Welcome, happy to be here. Thank you so much, man.
All right. So tell us a little bit about you and your family. You lived overseas for how many years?
For 2 years.
2 years. Okay.
Yeah. My older brother, older sister, younger brother, and my 2 parents.
Okay.
When I was in middle school, basically, we moved over to England and lived in a very small town. Only about 2,000 people in the town itself.
Wow. So you got really close to each
exactly.
other.
Exactly. And there's an ocean between you and the rest of your family, so it kind of forces you to.
Right. So,
are we back? Okay, we're back. Yeah, he's from England, so I decided to get some tea out for him. So I just wanted to keep it real.
We've got a little stat
we do actually. So help yourself.
I'd like some milk in that, though, if possible.
We'll get on that. Okay. All right, so now how did that, middle school is obviously a time, we all know what happens in middle school.
It's a very important part of your life.
Right.
Transition period, yeah.
So how did being with your family, surrounded by them, not being able to escape them, sometimes in middle school you're a little embarrassed or ashamed of your family. Right. How do you think that shaped you for growing as a person and going off into college and into the rest of your life, having that strong relationship with your family? What did that do for you?
I think it was really helpful, actually, to be there at that time in my life because as I was getting into who I wanted to be as a person, I was forced to be around the family members that really cared about me so much. And in a community that, despite the fact that they're very friendly, it's still a very foreign community, and we were very much treated as foreigners. We we weren't part of the local Tiverton community.
Okay.
We were the outsiders, and we knew we were the outsiders.
Right.
And so when at a time when you're trying to struggle to figure out who you are,
right,
you have a family there to support you completely in everything,
right,
which was great for me. And I think that's helped me throughout high school and then college, being able to adapt to being by myself for a little while in college before I made friends.
Right. And, you know, especially
surviving.
Right, surviving. And especially, I mean, when you're forced in that situation, when the only people you have to rely on are your family, and you view everyone as equals, because like you said, you were all outsiders together. Your parents were basically on the same level as you, and you know, normally the parent-child relationship, there's a lot of variance in the power dynamics. But anyways, you're forced to be on the same level, and not only does that make your parents view you differently, but that makes you view your parents differently. So do you feel like you kind of had more of an open or like adult type relationship with your parents at a younger age than say people
Most people, some, they don't have that like their whole life.
Right,
so.
Especially with my mother, actually, because the school in the town I went to was ranked as one of the worst schools in the country.
Oh, wow.
And so about 6 months into it, they decided to pull me out of the public schools and homeschool me.
Oh, wow.
And so my mother, in a foreign country with no friends, it was basically just the two of us until we actually established relationships with people in the town.
Okay.
And so we ended up being very good friends for a year and a half as I was homeschooled.
Right.
And so, that equals relationship really starts to form.
Right, yeah.
That's great. And I think, too, you know, whether it is your immediate family or, you know, other friends and stuff like that, that you need to have someone like he was saying, his mom, that you need that type of really close relationship to get through those really tough times. You know?
Yeah.
So.
All right, well, thank you so much
Ben,
for being with us today, Ben.
Thanks for keeping it real.
Happy to be here.
All right, and up next we have two women who are going to share their views on how familial relationships form and strengthen over time.
Stay tuned.
We'll be right back.
Yes, hello? Hi, what does the G-spot even stand for?
Is it true that if you don't use it, you lose it?
Yeah, hello? About poking. Do I poke before I message, or do I message before I poke?
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Keeping It Real with Steph and Kev. I'm Steph.
And I'm Kev. We're keeping it real.
And we're talking about family.
We are family.
That's right. And we have two guests right now who are going to talk to us about their own families and their experiences throughout college and how they've leaned on their families.
That's right.
I'd like to welcome Darren and Liz.
And Liz, thank you so much for coming on here. Steph's best friend. I love it. I love it.
That's true. They are my best friends.
Great to have you guys on here. Any friend of Steph's a friend of mine.
Oh.
You know, anyway.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about your family situations. Darren, do you want to tell us a little about your family?
My parents are divorced, and
When did that happen? Like recently, or
no, like when I was younger.
Okay, so you grew up
elementary school-ish. So I grew up with living at my mom's house with my three sisters, and then like going to my dad's house every Wednesday or every other weekend.
Okay, all right. And Liz, how about your family situation?
My family is huge. I mean, well, there are like 40 of us probably.
Wow.
We pretty much all live in the same city, which is a really small city.
Right.
Like 2,000 people.
Okay.
And
but you're an only child.
I personally am an only child.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So,
all right. So let's maybe compare and contrast a little bit. So you, Darren, growing up, I guess, in a divorced household, where you had your sisters there, and you all kind of like leaned on each other, like we were talking about at the beginning of the show. How did that situation, I guess, strengthen your bond, or affect your bond with your sisters?
I just think that having them there as like a constant support system really, I guess, made me approach them when it came to like having issues or problems, so you didn't hold things in as much. And I think that's something I've carried with me through like relationships now with
even
friends.
Not in your family?
Yeah, even with like friends and stuff in college, and learning how to get along with others and be open with others and share.
Right. Okay.
Oh, that's great.
So now I have 2 younger sisters, and we kind of used to fight quite often. Say sometimes mean things, but we were never forced in a situation like that where all we had were each other, and we were always focusing on going through the same thing together. Yeah. But Darren's family, I mean, you were forced in that situation, and that's made you treat other relationships in a similar way that you've treated your family relationships. That's awesome.
That's great. Thank you.
And so, Liz, how about you? Do you lean on your family a lot, or do you go more to friends since you're an only child?
My family, definitely. Okay. We're all so close because we do live in the same city, and we're together on almost every birthday, every holiday. I see them all the time. So it really, it's like they're my brothers and sisters, kind of. I don't feel like an only child because I have them. Okay. So
that's great. So do either of you have a specific example of how now being in college and everything that your families in your case your
sisters,
3 sisters, and in your case your big family, how they've really kind of helped you get through maybe some difficult times, and how you've kind of maybe reached out to them during those times, or if you have any specific examples of
Okay, well, what was it? Last year I didn't get into a program at Michigan.
Okay.
And I don't know, that's the worst feeling ever, especially since it's such a competitive school. So I found that my family was the biggest supporter and helping in getting over that, because they, constantly said, well, look, there's all these other options out there, and really built me up instead of pushing me down.
Right.
What they should be doing.
That's great.
That's great.
Liz, do you have any big examples you can think of?
Any words of wisdom, even?
I don't think necessarily relating to college.
Okay.
Although I have learned that, for me at least, my family is way more important than college, and I only came to realize that a couple years ago my dad had a heart attack, and that night anyone who could be at the hospital was there. My cousins, they didn't know where we were. They drove to 3 different hospitals before they found us, and so that really made me I knew these people were always there for me, but that really showed me that they were always going to be there, that I really needed to put them first, and that I could rely on them for anything. They would throw anything aside for me, and I can do the same for them. So
people first.
That's great.
Things second.
That's right. People first, things
your
second.
Motto, for sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, Darren and Liz, thank you so much for coming on.
Keeping it real.
Welcome.
It's been a pleasure.
Pleasure was ours.
All right. And up next, we have a fraternity brother who shares his story of brotherhood and family. We'll be right back.
Hey, what's up, Tim?
Hey, Tim. Hey, what's going on, guys?
What are you doing?
Just getting my game on a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Michigan, Ohio State, huh?
Nice. Adam, Michigan, Ohio State. Storied rivalry between these two teams, both going in this year undefeated. Michigan playing in Ohio Stadium knows they got to get off to a good start and get pressure on Troy Smith.
That's been the biggest key these past couple of years. Troy Smith has absolutely eaten this team alive. The last couple of years, Troy Smith has dominated this football game. He's been so good in every facet of the game.
Guys, do you mind?
Oh, look.
Oh, sorry.
Apologies, man.
You're
all right.
Playing, huh?
So you want
to... Yeah, you want to go get some coffee or something?
Yeah.
Cool.
Sure. Thank you.
Welcome back to Keeping It Real with Steph and Kev. Today we're talking about family. I'm Steph.
We are family, and I'm Kev. I got all my sisters, and we're keeping it real as always.
Oh yeah, got
show
that
number
rap
7.
going on.
Show number 7. We're in here. We're in here.
All right, let's talk more about family, huh, Kev?
Let's do it up.
We've got someone else
on
the show.
I'm excited. We got Kellen with us today.
Thanks so much for being here.
He's a fraternity brother of Phi Delta Theta, and he's keeping it real with us today, talking a little bit about family. But we're actually going to take a little different approach. You know, when you think of family, obviously you definitely think of your immediate family and blood related. But I think a lot of kids, students, when they come to a university, any university, they're looking for that connection. You know, that they might have had with their parents or friends back home. And so I think fraternities, sororities, the Greek system, a lot of other organizations are a great way for them to do that. Right. So maybe like how do you kind of see the term family fit in with your fraternity?
I mean, Kevin, you're my fraternity brother.
Yes, brother in the bond for life.
We pledged together. Kevin's one of the closest guys I am on campus, along with the rest of my fraternity brothers. And I don't know. I mean, I'm from a small town. Right. I wrestled on the same wrestling team for 12 years. Me and my teammates.
Champ right here, baby.
Me and my teammates, we were brothers. I mean, we did everything together. I came to college, big school like Michigan, and couldn't find that in the dorms. So I said, maybe I'll check the Greek system out.
Okay.
And I've enjoyed every second of it.
Yeah.
So how do you feel that your definition of family has really extended out to a broader community and has really helped you grow as a person through extending your definition as family?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, they call us like fraternity brothers, and we really are brothers. We eat together, we live together, we play sports together, we party together, we hang out, we study together. We're so close knit. And when you do that many things with the same group of 50 guys, you're going to become family.
Right.
And I think our fraternity especially was really founded on the right principles of brotherhood and family and community and connection, you know, which is what a lot of people are looking for.
And really, like, when you're going into any relationship or any fraternity or any even family relationship that's automatically already there for you, we really need to keep in mind our intent and our own consciousness and mindfulness of how we want to treat that person. I mean, yeah, you could sign up, you could, rush, you could try to be in a fraternity or a sorority, but you're not going to find that bond. You're not going to find that connection, that brotherhood, that sisterhood, that family type of a bond unless you really place your heart into it, unless you fully have that intention of making those sorts of relationships for yourself and also to connect with others. So I think it's very important, and this is a great example of just another way to extend our definition of how we find.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically a group of people that have the same values in line, more or less, right?
Yep.
Exactly. Which are, I believe, it is moral
rectitude, sound learning, and brotherhood.
Friendship.
Yep,
Brothers in the bond. I can't help it. Come on now.
All right.
No, but I think even more than this, it's like when I think of these sororities and fraternities, obviously there can be some drama going on in the mix, but at the same time, it's like we need, we talk about brothers and sisters, we talked about this on our previous shows as well. That's what we all are, basically. If we can see each other as that, as we do see it, in our fraternity and other fraternities in the Greek system, then I think we can get past, any of these other issues going on in our world,
Okay, yeah.
So come together as one family.
That's right. Because we're all equals at the end of the day. We're all equals. Whether our mom, our dad, our brother, our sister, our friends, our family, we're all equals. We're all in this life together.
We're all born, we all die.
That's right. And you know what? If you want to come celebrate some of the things that Kevin and I discuss on our show with our great guests.
And come together as one, as a family, to promote more acceptance and unity and community on this campus.
Then you should definitely come to
Peace Day. That's right. Friday, April 13th. It's going to be from 2:30 to 6:30 p.m. At the Michigan Union Ballroom. There's going to be a lot of great performances going on. We got some spoken word lyricists. We got me and Steph in the mix, keeping it real with y'all. We got a bunch of other powerful speeches and free food, performances, et cetera, et cetera. So, come out. It's going to be a great day.
All right. Well, we'd like to thank our last guest, Kellen, and all of our other guests and the crew for making this possible. And make sure you check out our website at wolv.org.
That's right.
And there's a link to Kevin.
Keeping it real.
All right, Keeping it real, the homepage. All right, so we'll see you back here next week. Have a good week.
Let's keep it real. We are family.
Peace in.
Peace in.
What was going on?
There was a lack of it, but of course it's only like one guy speaking about what a ton of different people should do. I took it with a grain of salt, and but I learned more about what it was.
Thank you.
Thank you. you.
Oh, and what's
Hall, and my last name is Lai, Lai.
Okay, very nice to meet you, Marshall.
Nice to meet you.
You them or what?
I'm a senior here.
Oh, nice.
Now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is this for like the campus, like
Yeah, local news.
Okay.
In our local news. Okay. Can you just state your name and spell it out for the camera?
Allison Campbell, ALLISON CAMPBELL.
Thank you. Okay. As far as Senator Levin's speech today, what are your thoughts, and how do you approve, or do you think he did a good job?
I'm an intern at Senator Carl Levin's office in Lansing, Michigan, and I was really privileged to be able to work for him and represent the different ideals that he voiced today. And I think the most important one that we continually need to express is the role of accountability in the government, because it's taken the uprising of the American public to hold the Bush administration accountable for their failures. And I think we just need to continue to do that and continue to push the government to be accountable, because we can't allow more tragedies to occur, and we can't allow the American people to suffer because of others' negligence.
Okay, do you think he did a good job of relaying that accountability and explaining it for the public? I know there were some people in the audience today that had a problem with what he was saying, and he kind of shot them down, but can you talk a little bit about, accountability and his way of how he went through each event and expressed what went wrong and what the president now is trying to do to go back and fix it?
Yeah, I think it comes down to communication between the government and people ignoring each other's information, and that was the biggest problem when it came to September 11th, when it came to the Iraqi war and why we went in and if it was legitimate or not, because people did not respond to the information that was truth. And if it comes down to this whole you scratch my back, I scratch yours, I think it's ridiculous. And I don't think people like Brown, who was on top of FEMA, who worked for the Arabian Horse Council in Colorado, should have been pointed to the top emergency disaster. So I think we're going to have to continue, and the House and the Senate is going to have to continue to just question the administration and see if these people are accountable that are in these positions. So I think that's really what he stressed, was communication between branches of government, and to continue to question and analyze what the government's doing and hold them accountable for their actions.
Thank you very much. Nice meeting you. And it's on.